Hello! This is a response to Omni Viewer's video entitled Kaiju Without People. Sorry, Kaiju Without People? Omni Viewer's video comes at a coincidental time. I recently finished part 7 of my Godzilla vs. Kong critique, and there are issues I examine in that video which bear relevance to this discussion. Right off the bat, I'd like to say the points brought up by the Omni Viewer in this ramble are good points, and majoritively I do agree with them. Let us begin.
I have always believed that the best giant monster movies treat the monsters as characters.
A good kaiju film, or monster film in general, should consider their monsters as characters and portray them as such. The entirety of the Godzilla series bears testament to this concept, and more specifically, the Monsterverse. I think we could all see the weariness in Godzilla's face in 2014, and even the emotions of the Muto, despite not having any emotive features. Any film focusing on kaiju alone would need characterful kaiju as its bedrock foundation, or it is doomed to fail.
But that's not to say the human cast should be neglected. At the very least, they need something to do. They have to affect the plot somehow, even if it's in a minimal way.
Kaiju films throughout the years have had effective human characters within them. More often than not, it is the actions of humans that cause the kaiju-human conflict in the first place, and the actions of other, well-meaning humans that help resolve said conflict. If a kaiju-focused film is to have humans in it at all, they must be there for good reason. Having humans in there for the sake of it will spoil the film. Having humans in there to help portray the plot, well, I'll get to that in a minute.
You see, whenever someone involved in the Monsterverse says that they want to make a Godzilla or Kong or just general monster movie that's mostly monster focused and minimal to no human involvement at all in it, the general response is that the human characters in the Monsterverse suck. The solution is not to get rid of them, but to put more emphasis on making them better. I feel that's sort of reading something into these statements that isn't really there.
Just because someone wants to see a kaiju-only film does not mean they hate all the human characters that have ever been in a kaiju film. There are plenty of good ones to reference. Wanting something different is not a sign that what is currently available is of poor quality. It just means they want to try something different. Sometimes you want to play Doom 2016. Sometimes you want to play Minecraft. Variety is the spice of life, after all.
It's that old axiom, there are no bad ideas, only bad executions. Now, a kaiju film that's only kaiju? That would definitely be experimental. Again, it's something we haven't seen done in any of the official films. So, it could turn out terribly, sure, but it could also turn out great.
Fundamentally, I have to disagree with this premise. I've had plenty of bad ideas in my time. But this idea specifically, a kaiju-only film, is not a bad idea and can be done well if executed properly. Even some of the recent Godzilla IPs, Planet of the Monsters, Singular Point, Shin, conceptually aren't bad ideas. Listening to the Omni Viewer describe Godzilla Earth in its basic form showed how much potential the roots of that story had. It's just a shame that what was cultivated is what we ended up with. And here is where I deviate from Omni Viewer's views.
A lot of people who defend the Reiwa series of Godzilla, they've been defending those films and series on the grounds that they are experimental. Now, a kaiju film that's only kaiju? That would definitely be experimental. Again, it's something we haven't seen done in any of the official films. So, it could turn out terribly, sure, but it could also turn out great. At the very least, I think it's worth trying. Like I said, don't like Shin Godzilla, don't like the Polygon Trilogy, don't like Singular Point, but they still deserved their day in court.
The recent Godzilla IPs were new, were experimental, deserved their chance to prove themselves, and failed to do so. To then, on that basis, give the next offering an equal chance is ignoring a possible underlying problem. Don't get me wrong, a kaiju-only film could be good, could prove itself under examination. I haven't seen Primal, but I have seen older films such as 1 Million Years BC. That film is set in a prehistoric era of cavemen and monsters with little to no dialogue, and manages to make an entire film out of the premise. A kaiju-only film, specifically a prehistoric film about the Godzilla War, could easily use this film as inspiration. Granted, I'm not sure Raquel Welch would make a good Kong, or at least I hope not. My problems stem from recent media offerings. Godzilla Dominion and Godzilla in Hell, whilst both being kaiju-only comics, apply copious amounts of text boxes. The Walking with Godzilla video slavers its scenes in narration. Despite these being designed for kaiju fans, these pieces of media can't resist adding in some kind of translation for what we are looking at. Now imagine a big budget film that has to go through test screenings and must appeal to as many people as possible. What is the likelihood that a kaiju-only film will end up having human characters in it purely to say, hey, look, they're doing a thing? Or worse, having the kaiju talk like that immersion-breaking scene at the start of Godzilla vs. Gigan. I'm not saying I think your average film goer won't understand a dialogue-void film, but a film studio might. Beyond Godzilla-specific media, we have current popular films and television programs to examine. We have had The Mandalorian, a program that could have given us an exciting look into the world of bounty hunting in the Star Wars universe, but ended up being Nostalgia Trip, the TV show. Do you remember Boba Fett?
I do remember Boba Fett!
Give it up for the man in the Mandalorian armor, babies and
Boba Fett.
We had WandaVision, a program that could have followed Wanda Maximoff, exploring her grief and/or going on the journey to becoming the Scarlet Witch. Instead, we got a psychopathic Wanda stripping a village full of innocent people of their free will, torturing them to the point they wanted to die, then running away when faced with the consequences of her actions. All of which the show treats as a good thing. What about Loki? A program about the god of mischief at the height of his villainy? Sounds great. Unfortunately, Loki turned into a cowed idiot, following others around on their adventures to give the MCU free will, breaking the MCU in the process. I'm not even going to go near Falcon and the Winter Soldier's idiotic story. These are stories based on existing IPs, and time after time they have gone horribly wrong. Granted, these are all from Disney, and the Godzilla franchise is currently in the hands of Warner Brothers. Let's see what they... Oh no. Oh no. No. Oh no! The last point I want to bring up was Omni Viewer's first point.
Kevin Smith, world-renowned filmmaker and shill, declared that he would pay good money to see a cut of Godzilla vs. Kong that didn't have the human cast in it. Before that, of course, you had 2019, after Godzilla King of the Monsters came out, Michael Dougherty saying that he would like to make a Godzilla BC movie. After Godzilla vs. Kong was released, Adam Wingard said that he felt the next logical step to take these movies was to make a film that was 100% kaiju focused, with as little focus on the humans as you could get away with. And now, of course, Max Bornstein, who wrote 2014 and has writing credits on King of the Monsters, has also said that he wants to see a MonsterVerse film with very few humans in it, where the focus is mostly on the monsters, like Godzilla, Kong, and whoever else shows up.
Big names want to see a kaiju-only film. Michael Dougherty and Max Bornstein who give us hope. But then we look at the other names mentioned. Kevin Smith recently produced the Masters of the Universe Netflix program. And that's all I need to say about that, to get my point across. Adam Wingard directed the recent Death Note film, Oh Dear, and Godzilla vs. Kong. You can find out what I thought about GVK in my video series. The titles should give you an idea. I'd love to see a film on the Konzilla War, of a tribe of Kons fighting off invading Zillas, or, if I had my way, the one Godzilla. Such a film could be experimental, could go the whole runtime without a word spoken, every event communicated by actions alone. The only problem is, it would need to link up with the current events of the Monsterverse, which, in my opinion, have not been thought through well enough to make sense. For the film to be good, it would have to break established continuity, and if Wonder Woman 1984 has taught us anything, that's a slippery slope to go down. Is a kaiju-only film a good idea? Yes. Is a kaiju-only film possible to make? Yes. Will a kaiju-only film be made well? Possibly. Will a kaiju-only film be made well given current trends in media? Not likely. Oh well. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it has given you some food for thought and possibly some ideas of your own to voice. If you'd like to hear more of my thoughts on Godzilla vs. Kong, feel free to visit my channel. I shall also link Omni Viewer's channel in the description so you can peruse his content if you haven't already. I also have an Etsy store if you fancy some Lovecraftian trinkets. Once again, thank you for watching.